Alright, hello guys, this is an example. I'm just doing a little bit of work, creative work here. I've created a way to transport mobs in the Nether without water, and I just wanted to show you that now. So what we've got here is a waterless conveyor system to convey our little little mobs to their demise. So, well, I wanted to show you this because I'm kind of excited about it. It is a little bit buggy, and every now and then a piston will pop out and stay out, and I think that is just because of the orientation of this particular hopper down here. Now, before I get into all the technical details, I want to try and show you it in an action, but I've only got 2 spawn pads here, so it's going to take a little while for a mob to show up. Now, there are pros and cons for this, and I'll get into that in a minute, but let's have a look and see if we can wait for something to spawn. There we go, we've got a blaze. Hopefully the blaze will fall off the edge. And there it goes. So the blazes are a good example actually of how the system is a bit flawed. Oh, here we go. We've got a with a skeleton just right in front of us. Here we go. Let's see if he goes off the edge. Yeah. Okay, the flaw in the system is because it's only 1 block high, that if a mob is jumping, they could potentially jump over the incoming piston. So let's see if we can jump over it. No, it didn't actually make it. But mobs can actually pop over there, and the blazes are actually a good example of that. So a blaze will actually, if you're close enough, a blaze will actually think it's been hit and jump up, and it won't get pushed off the edge. So to get around that, what you'd do is you'd probably cap this off. So if it's only 2 block area here, then the blaze won't jump over the piston, except then I'm not sure if a wither skeleton will make it down here, because it's three blocks high. So it is flawed, but it is a good idea, I think, because a lot of us can't get water into the Nether. We don't want to use minecarts, and we want some other way of transporting our mobs. So this is a very easy option, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. So let's take a look at its mechanics. Alrighty, so it's being driven by hoppers. So as an item moves through the hoppers, it's setting off these comparators, which depowers that torch, which powers. Let's see, we'll break this open. It powers this torch here, which then powers the top piston and the bottom piston at the same time. And what that actually does is allows the bottom piston to push up, and as it does, then the top piston will be able to push out. But because the piston is unable to move forwards this way, in this direction, it won't actually pop open until it's pushed up, if that makes sense. Alright, so it's I'm kind of tricking the piston into staying closed before it's until it's popped out. This is actually very difficult to explain. So I'm pretty sure that you can see the mechanic there. All what's happening is the piston is it's like a little piston train. It's pushing us along. So if I stand here, I should get pushed off the edge. I'll turn around. Yeah, see, I popped over the top. And that's what happens sometimes. Even though I'm not jumping, I'll sometimes get popped over the top, and it's because of how fast the piston's pushing out. And I think we can slow it down by putting a repeater in here somewhere, but then I haven't done any timing, so yeah, so I popped over the top again. So it's a little bit buggy, but if you cap the top off, it'll work. So if I stand back here again, we get another mob popping off into the channel there, we should be able to see it fall off the edge. There we go, 2 pigmen. That one's walked off, obviously. The other one's walking towards the pistons. Now that's not ideal. If it was water, they'd be constantly getting pushed backwards, but because it's not, it's a piston pusher, they can move around freely. But hopefully, there we go, he got pushed off. So, like I said, if we can sort the mobs first before we drop them into these channels, these are actually ideal. And quite simple to build. They are resource intensive because we're using hoppers and sticky pistons and normal pistons. using comparators and redstone torches. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I want to show you there. So that's pretty much it in action. I haven't spent time building a huge mob farm here to prove a point. I just want to show you the idea or the concept. So let's go ahead and build a short section of this somewhere. Let's build it. Let's build it over here. I'm building on inside the Nether because it makes more sense to build this kind of device in the Nether because we can't get water in here. So unless you cheat, and like I said before, some people don't like using carts because it's kind of difficult to get mobs out of carts, even though there is a way, which we can go into in another tutorial some other time. But anyway, this is something which I was playing around with in the overworld, and I kind of thought, well, what use is it? What can I actually do with this particular thing? And then I thought, well, how about in the Nether when we can't actually transport mobs? And I think that's probably a better place as any. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dig down 3 blocks into this Nether fortress from the normal spawning floor, and that's so we can get our. I'm not going to do go too far. I'm just going to go this far. So this is basically to put in our hoppers. First, put our hoppers down. Where are the hoppers? Hoppers. Okay, here we go. So let's say. Okay, let's put one there. So these are all facing facing towards the direction we want the mobs to go, and I'm holding down Shift so that I can attach a hopper to a hopper. I'm saying that because a few people have asked before or complained that they can't work out how to do that sort of thing. It's not everybody knows those sorts of things. So you hold down Shift whilst you're trying to attach a hopper to another hopper. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place another hopper into this one, and then I'm going to send the item back down to the other end. So we're going to send it back down this way. Can I reach? No. So holding down Shift again, we're going to join these together. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get item to come this way, turn this corner, go back down this way, and then go back into the same into the side of the hopper, and then back through this way, if that makes sense. Alright, so that's the hoppers done. So we should now have an item that, if we place an item there, it's going to continuously clock around that way. Now we need to put our, we're not going to put our pistons in just yet because if we do and then we put the redstone torches in, it will pop our pistons out the top, and we don't want to do that. So what we need to do is clear out some space here. So we're going to clear out these blocks here. Let's see, this, yeah, all these 4 blocks like this, all the way down to where we want to start, like so. We want to place our comparators. Let's see, let's put some blocks back here. Our comparators like this. Right, so that now when the item comes through here, it's going to set off these comparators. We want to place some blocks along here, like this, so our comparator is facing into that block. Now we want some redstone torches on top of those blocks, and then we want to clear out these blocks too, not that one, and place some redstone torches here. These are the ones that are going to power our pistons. Right, so now we're ready to put in our sticky pistons. Now, to put the sticky pistons in, you've got to hold down Shift again so that you don't access the hopper. Okay, we're just going to place them down like this. Let's get some height. Right, so that's going to force our pistons up. Now, this is going to push our mobs along, so we're going to place these facing this way. Whoopsie. So we're placing them in the direction we want the mobs to go, and in the same direction that our item is traveling. So our item is traveling this way through the hoppers, so we want our pistons to be pushing in that same direction. Okay. Now, this is important. We want to place a couple of dispensers here, and we don't actually need one on the bottom, but we need one on the top. And the reason being is that because these pistons are going to be powered pushing in this direction, they will actually push each other out this way and wreck the whole machine. But by placing this here, like I said before, the piston's under load, but it can't push out until it pops out the top. So that's what that's for. Alright, so I think we're ready to place an item in here and test this out. So let's place just any random item in there, just only one. You only need one. And we should see our pistons start popping out. Now, they're not firing because I don't have a solid block here. Sorry, that's oversight. We need a solid block here to power the top piston. There we go. Alright. And also we need solid blocks here to help our mobs sort of be guided down down the channel here. So we normally make this 2 blocks high so that the mobs can't jump out over the sides. Now, you can't drop a mob down on this first piston because there's nothing to push the mob in that direction. So we're going to have to block that off. But make sure you don't place a block above that piston, otherwise it'll wreck the machine. And the next thing we need to do is, let's say we're dropping our mobs into a tube, for example. So we've made a way to sort our mobs and we drop them into a tube. So here they go, they're dropped into this tube. And then we're going to place blocks all the way along here. So let's say we've sorted the mobs out and we want pigmen, normal skeletons, and the blaze to come through here. Then what will happen is we'll drop them down to this tube, like this, and they'll wait in here until they get pushed off the edge, like so. Okay, so before I get asked this question, I want to show you how to turn the machine off, because you can turn it off. Now, at the moment, there's an item in these hoppers circling around here, and it's going to go infinitely or until the system crashes, or the bug, that there is a bug that prevents the item from continuously moving around these hoppers. Attacks it. So this is the way you do it. You want to power this hopper here, and what that'll do, it'll stop the item inside this hopper and will not allow it to pass through the first hopper, which will power our pistons. So to do that, we just place a block here and lever and turn it on, and that's now going to trap the item in that particular hopper. If we look inside now, the pistons have stopped and the machine is off. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty simple. That's a little basic tutorial on how to build this particular device. Hopefully it was clear enough. There's no point in doing a step-by-step sort of layer-by-layer build on this. It's kind of straightforward. Just even by looking at this, you should be able to rebuild it as it is here. Alright, so this is example. I'm in the Nether, and this is a new way to transport mobs. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. And I'll hopefully catch up with you a bit later on with some new cool crazy ideas. Later.